What is up, guys? It's your boy Breezy with a brand new video today. More or less like a podcast. I've wanted to do this for a while now, and I've been putting it off. More or less, it's been marinating in my brain. Like you do some chicken, but that's neither here nor there. Basically, I've had this idea for over a year now. I missed doing the podcast when Four Eyes was doing it, as well as the fact when myself and Mystic V were hosting on his channel as well. So here's episode 1. Welcome. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you guys do, I would gladly appreciate if you guys would hit that subscribe button, as well as hit the follow button wherever this podcast ends up leading up to. I don't know exactly where it's going to be on. I just know it's going to be on YouTube. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and let me know in the comment section down below some topics you guys would like me to cover, and possibly my guest when I do decide to have some. I talk about in the next podcast, so we have something set up, set a stone, etc. So today's podcast, as you guys see, is the title, of course. We're going to be talking about the previous YCS that a lot of people were surprised on what won the event, as well as some of the reputation for this deck, as well as a bunch of other decks leading into the current meta. This kind of goes into what our current meta is solidified as. Usually whenever we have a ban list, we end up waiting for the first major event to know what exactly our current meta is going to look like. Now, me personally, I don't think this is a, in quotations, ban list. I felt like this was more or less like an emergency ban list. We haven't had one since Pepe format, and that was back when Pepe was at full power, and a lot of people complained about it. Well, Konami waited to that YCS and buried it. A lot of people were pissed. I'm pretty sure people are going to comment their stories and everything, how they were pissed and how, F Konami this. But you know what? I didn't have the deck at the time. I was playing Rogue. I still play Rogue, but I don't mind playing meta here or there. But anyways, we're going to talk about the current meta, the previous YCS this past weekend, along with the OCG Banlist. I understand why would we talk about the OCG Banlist, because it's a current topic that had happened previously, and I personally feel like it's kind of good to know what OCG banned. I mean, why not? So I hope you guys do enjoy. Sit back, get your drinks, your popcorn, whatever you do to listen to podcasts or anything. Let's get straight into it. So at this previous YCS, Prank Kids actually ended up taking the first place, winning it all, and a lot of people were shocked. Obviously, there's the memes, it's just a prank, bro, and it really wasn't a prank. I guess you could technically say that, but it wasn't a prank. You also had Thunder Dragons, which was one of the most popular decks there as well. I remember when this deck came out, I was like, yo, this is going to be the Stones. It's going to be a really good deck. People are going to go into it. And Thunder Dragon, obviously, being, I think, the original Thunder Dragon anyways, was played in Exodia. And that was how many years ago? Then you obviously have Sky Strikers taking probably the most represented deck going into the YCS. The deck's very strong. For many of you guys who've been living under a rock, Sky Strikers have been around for a while, and they basically rely putting your spells into the graveyard and getting secondary effects off of them, as well as them having their main spell effects like Widow Anchor, being able to negate monster effect, also its secondary effect, taking control. You also have Afterburn, you have a bunch of the other ones. Then Altergeist, of course, taking one of the spots. I felt like once Konami decided to hit Malicious and everything, hitting your main, I guess, FTKs with Firewall, etc., Altergeist was going to take a step up because, one, it wasn't hit off the list, it wasn't touched on the list, and the deck's kind of like, I won't call it a stun deck, I guess in a way it is, but it's still a really good deck. Who doesn't like playing Kieran? Rest in peace, Kieran, the original Kieran, by the way. Then you had the Dark Danger FTK. Obviously, the deck's not dead. I mean, I'm pretty sure once everybody knew Firewall was going to get hit, they already had the secret spice in their back pocket. So, of course, somebody was going to come up with another FTK. So there was that. Pendulum Magicians creeping up into, I guess, the scene again. Legend Knight ended up getting hit on the, not the previous list, but the past list that we ended up having. And a lot of people probably thought that Pendulums were going to be dead, but I guess somebody proved them wrong. Then you have one of the newer decks. I guess it's new. The card's not new. Rongo. Basically, it's another Towers. It's Dark Rongo Turbo. I guess if you want to call it Dark Goki Turbo or something. But basically, you bring this out and your opponent can't normal special summon. It's unaffected, blah, blah, blah. You guys could go look up the card. It's kind of a degenerate deck, to say the least. But once you have it, you basically want to go to game 2 inside your XC's Encores. Then you had Gem Knight FTK, no surprise there. I mean, that FTK is still relevant. Once again, like I had said, once cards hit from an FTK, a lot of people find other ways to reinvent that FTK. Then you have Goki, of course. I felt like Goki actually ended up, in a way, it wasn't hurt too much. I mean, yeah, you can't actually link your opponent with the Gumblar. I mean, you technically can, but you can't really abuse Firewall like you wanted to. So now you're relying on a bunch of other things to basically adapt to your hit, or one of your main hits. True Draco, of course, being one of the decks that, I mean, I wouldn't say people more or less didn't expect, I guess. I don't know. It's one of those decks that not a lot of people it's a cheap rogue deck. Let's just put it that way. And then, of course, Trickstars at the last one. But yeah, Prank Kids. Prank Kids came out of, I believe it's Soul Fusion. Or not Soul Fusion, Hidden Summoners. And a lot of people actually thought that set was trash. Which, in my opinion, I feel like it was one of those, if you're a casual player, and it's not one of the main sets, you're not going to care about it. And usually that's what one of those sets, one of the most broken archetypes come from. If I'm correct, I believe it's a Secrets of Eternity, I could be wrong, that Necros came out of. I could be wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. But Necros came out of one of those packs, and people were just buying them out. Ritual Beast came out of there as well, which was pretty insane as well. It had its little shine, etc. So basically, that's what you're looking for at our current format. I feel like it's pretty diverse. There's other ways to stop these decks. So let me know in the comment section down below what you guys are playing for this current format. I'm not playing anything on this list right now. I'm playing Orcrest. Feel like the deck is underrated. Once Savage Strike comes out and we get the orchestrated Nightmare, it's kind of going to help the deck out a little bit more. At least hopefully. So that's basically it. Let's go into the OCG ban list. So for OCG, starting off with the forbidden part of the list, you have Gloat Bulb, Dandelion, Goblin, Dark Matter, Firewall. TCG did it first. Cloak, Invoker, and Blade. Now, going off of this forbidden list, the only things that I can really kind of explain, because I haven't really looked at OCG a lot, and a lot of people know I'm an avid OCG watcher, because of the fact, I mean, OCG gets the archetypes before we do, or released, and then I personally feel like you could see what some of the structures that a lot of people are playing. Yeah, they might have some cards that we don't, but you could get a general idea of how you want to build the deck and how it's played, so you could test it before it gets released here in the TCG. So of course, Gloat Bulb, Dandelion helping out with Needle Fiber, Goblin, TCG did it first. Dark Matter, I'm not exactly sure, because of the fact I don't know if Blue Eyes or anything else is really helping your chances. Once again, Firewall, TCG at first. Cloak, another needle fiber target. Invoker, not exactly sure what that's helping out there. Maybe Goki. And then Blade, TCG. I'm surprised they didn't do it first, but usually OCG is the first ones to do things. I guess TCG stepping their game up. Then you have for the limited side, Multi-Faker, Needle Fiber, Chronograph, Kagari, and Mathematician. So going off of that, my thoughts and opinions on that Multi-Faker, I guess, I actually ended up thinking once Konami sees what's being played, and I believe our next list is in January, so the first of the year. But knowing Konami, we're going to have to wait maybe a couple weeks before that. Hopefully we do, and we don't have to play under a new list. But I figured Konami was going to hit Multi-Faker. Multi-Faker is basically one of your most powerful cards in the deck, monster-wise, minus the Silquidus. But allowing, whenever you activate a trap, you special summon it. Special summon your Silquidus, and then you can do whatever you want. Then you have Needle Fiber. I mean, I guess we in TCG don't have it yet, so I mean, question mark. I don't know. Chronograph. I guess are pendulums doing anything in OCG? Does anybody know? Kagari, I guess, because of the fact that you're able to get your engages and basically engages one of your main targets, so you could get the draw, but allowing you being able to grab stuff for free from the deck just from a link monster like that, cool. So Mathematician, once again, don't know why. I mean, I guess it's like an Armageddon Knight, and it has that second effect, I guess, like when it's destroyed or something by battle, or I don't exactly remember what it does, but I know you get a draw effect whenever it's off the field. Going on to the semi-limited list, Damage Juggler, Danglong, Candina, Snow, Spellbook of Knowledge, Ceasefire, Personal Spoofing. So going off of this, Damage Juggler, I feel like Damage Juggler is one of those cards that basically can be at 3. I don't think that there's really anything, like Pepe's dead. And what are you really going to use Damage Juggler for, essentially? I mean, to search Hat Tricker, and that's basically it. Danglong, I feel like going into OCG, if they have anything hit from the Dino deck, you might actually see a little bit more Dino decks appear because, I mean, come on, it's Danglong, right? Then you have Candina. I mean, I guess some people play 2 to 3. Most people play 3, but some people play 2. I guess. Fairy Tale Snow, cool, I guess. Spellbook Knowledge, I mean, I guess for the Striker deck and anything Spellcaster, but I haven't seen anything really happen for that, for them to do that. Ceasefire, cool. Personal Spoofing, that's one of those cards where basically if you haven't played Altergeist or against them, you get to flip it and you get to switch whether add it to your hand, which is usually Multi-Faker, so you can special summon it and then go on with your merry way, but that's about it. Then you have, for the unlimited side, Dante. Of course, us in the TCG, Dante is always dodging the ban list. Shout out to Dante. Necros of Buronic, True King's Return, and Ring of Destruction. Basically, TCG did that first, from my knowledge. But essentially, I think this OCG ban list is kind of cute in a way, and the reason I say that is because of the fact that I don't think this list is really going to affect a lot of decks. I mean, the fact, besides like Firewall, Needle Fiber maybe going to 1, but like I think people only played 1 Needle Fiber. At least I would only play it. But again, we're on TCG, so that doesn't matter. We don't have Needle Fiber, so we're not able to see what kind of bad crazy, wacky, combo, spicy decks people are playing there in OCG, unless you're playing there like Base Lolly has. So, anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy this podcast. Hopefully, it was structured pretty well, and hopefully you guys are still listening. If you guys have, make sure you guys stay tuned for more episodes. I would love to do this. I feel like this is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I like doing podcasts and interacting with people, etc., talking about a game that I love. So if you guys did enjoy it, leave a like on the video, leave some topics you guys want me to talk about down below so we could talk about in the next episode, as well as hit the subscribe button if you guys are new to the channel. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It's your boy Young Breezy, and I'm out.